Hi, everybody. Penn here with Yoga Sizes. Really thrilled to have Kate Rouzer here today. She is a health coach, and we actually both went to the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. So she's going to share about her story and how she became a health coach and her experience in this field and how, the whole coronavirus thing going on, if she has to pivot her business or if she's running her business as it is, and how she's helping her clients. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. So I am Kate Rouzer, your Zestful Life health coach. I help badass go-getters 10x their energy through the lens of nutrition and fitness so that they can consistently feel like $1 million. What I've found is that most of us, myself included, because this is my story too, end up self-sabotaging ourselves because we have the ability and the capacity to do so much, but we try and do it all at the same time, which means that we're losing so much of that energy. Plus, I work with mindset as well, which isn't the thing that everybody talks about. It's the sense that we all have the tools, we just have things blocking our own ingenuity and our own intelligence from answering the questions for us. So I help people go in and remove some of those blocks because you have the capacity, you have the capability, you have all the tools, you have the intelligence. There's only you holding you back. So let's get out of your own way.
Mm-hmm. That's so awesome. So, what made you get into this whole mindset thing? Working with people, working with their mindset and their beliefs and helping them.
It's funny, actually. I started by flipping people upside down. I also am an anti-gravity fitness instructor. So I've spent the past decade from being a professional ballerina and building this business on the side, literally putting people into a physical state where they're inverted. But because of that, your mind goes to a space where it's not in its norm. So the way that we visually see things is turned upside down, which means all of our brain synapses start to fire in new and in ingenuity. It's all ingenuity. Your brain is working like a computer and creating the new pathways to be able to understand what's going on and find its balance again. So I've taken that from the physical setting in a Harrison hammock and a 4-way stretch hammock into just our everyday lives. So I have a huge background in physical as well as artistic settings, and I brought those into just the normal day-to-day, right? We have habits that we go to all the time, and being able to change our perspective and that perception of that normal habit is something that we can do in our food, in our fitness, and it's going to transfer into our relationships, into our career, into all of it, because the way you do one thing is the way that you do everything. So if you can fuel it, you can do it.
I love that, the whole inverting, being upside down, because when we're born, at the first few months, the first few weeks, we see everything upside down. Like for babies, it's like going back and kind of learning. But of course, we couldn't remember what we're seeing upside down. But as we get older, our biology changes of the the eyes and the brain. Like we kind of see things the way we're seeing things, and it's good to just kind of going back and kind of just work from seeing it from a different view, like you said.
Yeah, and we are programmed basically from the age of, up to the age of about 7, with everything that we experience, everything we see, everything we hear, we learn, we know is a replication of our surroundings and our circumstances. So we're learning from that, and that's basically how your subconscious starts to wire itself. What I like to work with is a lot of the science behind the way that we think. So you have your conscious, which is maybe 5% of what we do. And then you have your subconscious and your unconscious, which is your immune system and your nervous system. So when you go into fight, flight, freeze, or your, which is your sympathetic nervous system, or your rest and digest parasympathetic nervous system, that's how our body responds. So you're kind of looking through one lens or the other at the world, at every situation. But a lot of those are reflecting your subconscious patterns, your beliefs, your thought patterns, the things you've seen, the experiences you've had, the meaning and the emotion that you've attached to all of those. And a lot of that happens below the surface, and we don't even recognize how we're actually reacting or responding to any situation. So, yeah.
That's so true. Now, speaking of the different stages, of the mind, the subconscious, conscious, and the parasympathetic, sympathetic, with everything that's going on right now, with all the changes, so what are some of the things that you're doing differently or still the same, and how are affecting your clients?
That's really interesting. So a lot of people are responding, especially right now, still in that sympathetic nervous system fight, flight, freeze, but because it's scary, it's the unknown, right? The unknown is scary, but it's also exciting. In a sense, we've always normally been doing that, though, especially in the past 20, 50, 100 years, because that feeling, that being chased by a tiger and needing to survive, of the sympathetic nervous system, that fight, flight, freeze, you can feel that from somebody sending you an email or your boss saying, hey, I need to talk to you, right? You don't actually necessarily know exactly what they're thinking, but you respond in a certain way. So oftentimes people are responding in that way, which is fear, overwhelm, exhaustion, uncertainty. What I try and do, especially with my own clients, is make sure that they understand where they're seeing things, how they're seeing it, and is it from a really powerful state, right? Or are they going into every situation from a state of imbalance and high vibration energy, and it's out of control rather than conscious awareness of what you're doing. So in my business itself, not much has changed. I've always been working with people online via Zoom. They have access to me via Voxer. Nothing really has changed in my business in that sense, but what I have offered is a little bit more perspective, especially just in the situations that people are in, right? Situations, regardless of, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 days ago, they're always going to be different. Everything's changing. Everything's always changing, which is great, right? Change is inevitable, and people are so scared of it, but it's the best part. That's where you learn, that's where you grow, that's what the transition is. It's in between, two trapeze, rather than holding on for dear life and just hoping for the best, right? Hoping that it's just going to stay the same and that nothing's going to change, but that's not really living. So I still offer my same offerings, right? I love working with people through the lens of food and fitness, because it's something that's tangible. It's right in front of you. You can see it, you can feel it, you can understand it fairly quickly. And some of those mindset changes can happen just as quickly. What we want to do is create consistency, though. So that's what I'm really focused on still.
Okay. So what would you say, let's just say the consistency for some people just not the same anymore with everything that's going on? Like, how would you help them in terms of getting them back on track and helping them to be more prepared, not more prepared, but just going through the whole thing as it's happening?
Consistency, I mean, yeah, your day-to-day is going to change. A lot of people are staying home, right? We're home, we're in our safe environments, but at the same time, you're still in your own head. So is that the best relationship and the best support that you can have? Who else is with you? How can you actually foster positive connections with that? Because relationships are so important. It helps you support yourself, but you also, because I'm an energy coach, you need to know that you have that energy to have a full cup or a full tank of gas before you even think about how you're reacting with other people and connecting with other people, because those connections are going to be your support system going forward as well. And I know a lot of people might be getting, cabin fever and getting a little frustrated in this moment, but that's a great opportunity now more than ever to really look at what's happening in your life, what's happening for you, where your thought patterns are going, what your body is doing in response to that, right? Some people think, this is the best time that I could actually get in shape. I have the time, I have the energy. That's great. Yeah, I'm so for it. But how are you approaching it? Are you making it really hard and heavy? Are you exhausting yourself? Are you doing it because you think you have to, or are you doing it because you really want to? And it's something that's going to make you feel better. And it's not about how you look. Or maybe it is. Could be, sure. But it's about how you feel inside. What it's really not about is a number on the scale, right? It's about how you put your energy into the things that you do, into the food that you make, into the meals that you get to share with people now, into your business, your work, if you're working on your business, if you're not in your business. There's so many things. I'm getting a little off topic for you, but yeah.
Oh, that's great. I love it. It's because you're talking about all these questions that are really people need to think about and trying to figure it out. You mentioned energy and like the food and everything. So speaking from like food and energy perspective, like what type of food you eat and like what's helping you keep your energy up and like kind of also just keeping your energy up basically on a daily basis.
Daily basis. So I have my mind went in 3 different directions. So I have a couple things that I do. In the morning, I have morning rituals that fuel me, right? They nourish you just as much as food does. I enjoy a cup of coffee. One, right? That gets me going. That's my calm time. It's something it's warm. It's emotionally fueling, as well as slightly caffeinated. But during the day, I try and prep a lot of my food twice a week. So I'll do 3 days at a time, and I'll do as many greens as possible, a nice protein source, and a couple starches, just a little bit here and there. Little extras to add on. I do a bunch of microgreens just because, in fact, they have 10 times more nutrients than, a piece of broccoli. So I'll prep my fuel in a sense that I know it's nourishing me, but I also like flavor. So I'll use fresh herbs from my own garden. I'll use seasonings that I've had, clean ones. So I know all the ingredients and there's nothing that I can't pronounce in there. With hydration. Hydration is so important. I mean, and it's such a simple thing that we forget it. Just like breathing, right? Your body's automatically going to do it, but you do every once in a while want to take awareness to just your breathing patterns, because that's actually going to move your body just as much as it's going to oxygenate your body. So fueling myself with food, that's about it. I don't deny myself of anything. I just add in the things that I know are going to be good for me. And it doesn't mean I have to have every single one of them every single day, right? You don't need to overeat and just try and stuff yourself with all of them. But yeah, I fuel myself with nourishment that I know is going to benefit me. I'm going to enjoy. On the physical side of things, mobility is so important. You need to move. You need to move for your blood flow, for your lymph flow, to detox your body, for all of that oxygenation to move the blood up into your brain so you can actually think clearly. And then, you know, some of the food is actually that I add in is for extra brain fuel. And I don't necessarily need to say everybody needs to do this. I know what my body likes. So I fuel my body with cordyceps and medicinal mushrooms that are all naturally found, that they've been cooking with for thousands of years. And you can find those in many different sources. Teas are great. Staying hydrated with a little extra flavor. Or I'll just take lemons off the tree and juice them into water. Yeah.
That sounds nice, so fresh and so natural, like, no, not that much processed. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Clean, whole, less is more.
Yeah. What are you drinking now?
Coffee. This is my leftovers. I also have my water that I usually go through. My midday is med water. I actually found this brand, and it's chai tea that has all of those cordyceps and mushrooms and extra turmeric and ginger for inflammation and stuff like that. So that's my usual go-to.
That sounds good.
Little
Yeah,
cocoa.
I'm gonna have to share that link later. I have to check it out.
Sure. Yeah. There are a couple really good brands.
Mm-hmm. So going backtracking a little bit with the whole like inversion and you know, being upside down and stuff like that. So now you're doing, like, you're still doing, you know, online thing, Zoom for coaching. You don't really, do you still do that stuff with your clients virtually?
I have one client who's been quarantined as much as I have. She is the only one that I work with. But that's her natural state of basically being alone most of the time, just because of her disease that she deals with. Other than that, no, I've not been in person with my clients because I own all of the materials and the rigging. So yeah, I do have my background as a professional ballerina, so I have so much fitness experience in that, stretching, stuff like that. So I've been actually giving a lot of that insight to people in my own Facebook group. I have a personal Facebook group for my Zestful Life coaching, and they're loving it. It's great. It's simplistic. It's basically filling in the cracks in your fundamental fitness that everybody just keeps seeing, you know, things on social media all over that, you know, just push really hard or do this HIIT workout, or, you know, you have to go to the extremes, you have to push yourself so hard, which isn't true, right? If you actually use the physics of your own body and aligning it correctly, you're going to be using muscles that you actually want to improve. Something as simple as, say, a squats, and just aligning the knees over the heels and sitting back into the glutes and allowing your upper body to counterbalance till you get to where your body allows you to go on that day, which is going to be different every single day. You're going to not only turn on your glutes and your hamstrings, plus a little bit of the outer and inner thighs, a little bit less on the quads, because we tend to be very closed in the front. That's just kind of the habit of many people, just because they don't know. You know, you don't know what you don't know. But being able to find that alignment, I had somebody say, my ass is gonna look great. Yes, you're gonna get out of this quarantine and you're gonna have the best glutes ever. Enjoy it. You're welcome. It's like, I've been doing this wrong for years. But something as simple as that, things you can do in your own home. You don't need extra weights. You don't need extra stuff. It's just being aware of alignment, function, and doing a little bit a day. You don't need to do extreme things. And that's kind of how I approach everything. Less is more. Value over volume. Yeah.
That's awesome. Like, being creative with different things to do at home and what we can use with whatever we have, right? Since we can't really, we're limited to get access to things outside. That makes me think like this whole inversion thing. I mean, you can probably just do like headstands or using the wall for support. Sorry, my neighbor's vacuuming, so you're probably going to be hearing the noise.
Yeah, you can lie back on your bed and let your hang over the edge. You can lie on your back and put your feet up against the wall in the corner. All of this is going to start that circulation, and that inversion without compression is the key part. Yes, handstands, headstands are fun. They're great for your workout physically, but they're also compressing your spine, which is what I like to do. Why I like to work with the Harrison hammock for anti-gravity, because you're hanging from your pelvis, which is the most solid part of your body, and your spine just gets to relax. Gravity doesn't work for you. And you're locked in, you're safe. You can swing, move, whatever you want, and you're just going to stay there and decompress and relax. We also strengthen around that space afterward. So that's part of it. But yeah, if you're at home, lie on your back, put your feet up against the wall in the corner, you're going to hit your endocrine system, blood flow. Yeah. Lymphatic, allowing it to flow in a different direction just because of how your body is facing and relaxed. Digestive, hormonal, pituitary glands running all of that. So you give it a little bit of a kickstart. It's great. And you can just do that for 5-10 minutes a day. Lie on your back, put your feet up against the wall. It's a great little nap position too. Yeah.
That's great. It's because we're always standing or sitting, not a lot of just balancing out, or like you said, being inverted without compressing too much on our body.
Yeah. I mean, you compress every day when you're walking around, when you get up, when you lie down at night, you usually decompress at least, a quarter of an inch, maybe even half to a full. And it's kind of this daily process, but the more that you can find that space and actually strip it around the space rather than trying to draw everything in and just be in control all the time, it's huge. I like to talk about it as expansive action, right? You're not only thinking about getting bigger in space, but that broadness of idea is both mental and physical. It actually expands your balance, even just walking around, standing, sitting, going up and down stairs. But that expansive action allows the balance to spread in every single direction. So it's not just, I need to find this pinpoint and balance on top of it. It's, oh, I know where that is, and I can go away from it and find that balance even faster. So I use that in the physical sense, but it also works in the mental sense. If you think about an idea and actually zoom out and get a broader perspective, or ask something to help you find that broader perspective, because we all have those blinders, right? And that's from our past experience. That's from our experience in our own lives. Every single one, we saw it differently than everybody else that was there because of every other experience we'd had before that. So the meaning that we gave to all of them is kind of compiled over time, but it's something that you can change at any point. And sometimes having that ability to just ask, not necessarily for a specific thing, but just ask, hey, I'm thinking about this and I'd like a different perspective. Can you help me out? Somebody can help you see and open up those blinders just 1 degree, and that 1 degree opens up so many more possibilities for you. It's amazing how much that shifts. And it's not something that they're telling you this is how it is. It's they're asking you, well, what if? Or how would it look like when? Or if you had this possibility, or if this wasn't in your way, what would happen for you? And how might that affect somebody else too? And what could you gain from this, and where could you go from this, and what's the next step? And look at that future. That can be now. And that can be emotional, that can be physical, that can be, look at something as small as just the food on your plate. You can use that as a reference point You can use your physical body as a reference point. You can use your relationships as a reference point. Your career. I just get so excited talking about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Like you're passionate about this, and it's like really deep questions, really things to consider and to figure it out. Is something that you can really just take some time to like really look into that stuff and have a deeper meaning and be like, oh wow, like broadening your just everything, all the senses and everything. Yeah, that's
All
cool.
those questions. Yeah.
Yeah. So with your sessions, how long are your programs for last?
So I have several programs. One of them that works with me one-on-one is actually all of them have a bit of one-on-one with me. The longest one is 6 months, and that's one-on-one with me. We have 12 sessions. You have Voxer access to me 5 days a week. We have a couple of fun things that we add in there that are going to change your food because you make it easier on yourself. You save yourself money. You also prevent 4 main lifestyle diseases just by being part of the process. We look at your physicality and we fill in the cracks and then expand with your personal abilities and capabilities where you want to go. There are a couple other things with that one. My smaller program is an 8-week energy exploration. So you find a couple ways to start shifting, and then we put that process into the long term. And then I have just a 90-minute one-on-one energy audit. So we go through and we update all the things that are blocking you. We figure out what it is, what we need to do to move them out of the way, and then we set up a program for you to do for the next couple months, and you will check in later so that you can expand it further.
Okay, interesting. So how can they find you on, like, where can they?
YourZestfulLife.com. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Your Zestful Life is my name for everything. It's all at Your Zestful Life. A little bit about my background with anti-gravity and dancing. That would be at Kate Rouzer, Kate.Rouzer. And for anti-gravity, it's at anti-gravity.kr.
Okay, awesome. Do you offer like special discounts for listeners or anything like that?
Yeah, I would be happy to. Contact me via that or join my Facebook group and let me know that you found the information from here and we can chat.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much, Kate, for joining us today. And I look forward to working with you, and I hope listeners are finding this helpful information, and hopefully they'll find you through the show as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks so much, Ben.
Thank you.